again. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our panel on oceans and blue economy. I'm Catarina Canelas, journalist at CNN Portugal, and it's wonderful for me joining Planetiers World Gathering today here with you. And today we will explore the critical challenges our oceans face, including pollution, overfishing, and the impacts of the climate change. We will also discuss sustainable economy opportunities that arise from addressing these issues. I'm honored to have two esteemed speakers with us. There are two friends of mine, two special ladies, Helena Vieira and Janete Agues. Helena Vieira, who is now a senior coordinator researcher at Aveiro University in CESAM and ERA chair lead holder, and Janete Agues, executive director of the environmental Fundação Maio, Biodiversidade NGO in Ilha do Maio, Cape Verde. Thank you so much for you to being here today, and let's dive right now in our discussion. I will start with Helena. Helena, with your extensive, it's quite a role, with your extensive experience in maritime policy, how do you see current EU policies impacting the blue economy and the sustainability of ocean resources?
Okay, so I think it's thank you for the question, Catarina. And after our esteemed Secretary of the Sea speech, I think it's good to focus that Portugal exists within the European Union, and the blue aspect of the European policies is present across policies, so the Green Deal, the Sustainable Blue Economy Communication that just came last year, the Bioeconomy Strategy, so there's quite a few strategies, but there's also, they put the money where the mouth is, so there's particular funding dedicated to blue economy. So we have Horizon Europe that has dedicated funding. The European Innovation Council also has dedicated funding. The Blue Invest ecosystem, and also to point out the European Maritime Fisheries and Aquaculture Fund, managed by CINEA, also has some fund dedicated to this. So I think that at the European level, the Commission and the Parliament are aware that Europe has been having a particular role in leading sustainable policies, like leading by example, being a real push in terms of funding innovative and sustainable projects has also been a priority. And I believe, and I want to believe, that this will continue now that there's been elections and there's a new parliament in place, so the new commissioners have been announced, and a revision of some of these strategies is going to happen in 2025, and I believe this is going to be continuing to be a good part for sustainable blue growth in Europe.
Do you think it's the right moment? Because everything is happening.
I must tell you that I think we've been saying that it's the right moment for 20 years now, but I cannot be. We cannot dismiss what has happened so far. So I think this is not a 10-kilometer run. It's an ultra marathon. Are we doing things fast enough? Maybe in some areas not, because Europe in the world is small compared to other regions. But leading by example has always been sort of the flag of Europe, and I think it's a good moment, and it's also an opportunity to further input more blue into the new strategies that are going to come next year. So yeah.
Thank you. And Janete, you are a dedicated conservationist focused on community engagement in Fundação Maio Biodiversidade, also in marine protection. So you have highlighted various challenges such as pollution, overfishing in Maio. Can you elaborate on how these challenges specifically affect local communities?
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you, Catarina, for the question. The ocean is the base of life in the earth. but these vital resources are face challenge, and the communities have some impact with this challenge. Especially the people who or use directly these resources. And overfishing and the degradation of marine habitat is decreasing or reduce the availability of fish and affects the Hollywood fishermen and the food security of communities. For example, in Maio Island, Fundação Maio Biodiversidade was do a study case where the fishermen report us in the past they was catch, for example, tuna weighing 85 kilos, but now the tuna is between 50 kilos. In the past, they are more, they are catching more chichar, but now is less. And if they need to go a fish, they need go far to catch a fish. And another consequence is the tourism. We know the ecotourism is a way to do income for the population, and if we have some consequence, ocean consequence, the communities don't have a lot of opportunity to get income for their life.
So you think a lot in communities also in
Yes.
FMB?
Yes.
Okay. So Helena, you have been involved in a number of startups and innovation projects, now in academia also. Can you tell us about some of your projects, and what role do you believe innovation plays, like in addressing the challenge faced by our oceans?
Okay, so I'm going to start with the projects, which is it's more actual to what I do now. So, for example, in the University of Aveiro, I'm leading, so you can think of the ocean from different perspectives, the conservation and the biodiversity, the economic activities like the fisheries and the tourism and maritime transport and others, or the social components of how the ocean is relevant to different social stratas of the population. So, and one of the people that ocean is very relevant is women. And sometimes the role of women in ocean economy is not so visible. In many locations and within many industries, women are the silent player. In fisheries and aquaculture is actually one of them. So I'm leading an European project called WinBig, which is Women in Blue Economy. And in this project we are trying, so this is a project funded by CINEA and the Fisheries Fund. And in this project we are trying to get the data at European level for the emergent sectors of blue economy, so not the traditional ones where we know that in fisheries and in maritime transport there's barely no women, but in the new and more high-tech areas of blue economy like biotechnology, blue bioeconomy, renewable energies, robotics, these areas, we are trying to figure out what's the current status of women in these sectors across the countries in Europe. And then we are also trying to understand the barriers that women and young girls face in entering blue economy and how we can contribute to a more balanced gender. So this is a social aspect in blue economy. Another project that I'm really proud of, that it's led by one of my colleagues in Aveiro and Hilario, it's called Redress. So redress for Portuguese people. And this is a project where we are trying to prove to governments and industries that it's actually economically and socially interesting to restore deep sea ecosystems. So we have a series of...
it's a great challenge.
Yes, it's a big challenge because it's deep.
Yes.
Nobody knows much about these ecosystems, but we are already destroying them. They are already very affected. So, you know, you can have coral reefs in various depths, but you can have sea prairies and other types of ecosystems that are really relevant for the ecological, holistic existence in this planet, and how can we restore them? How can we make it economically interesting? And what about the social impact they have? So these are two projects that I'm engaged now in university. I'm also working in decarbonization, so trying to make, you know, polluting industries like maritime, transport, or associated industries into more green industries, looking at the technology side. In companies, you know, I've been a founder of a company in blue biotech, trying to harness the power of marine microbes, so bacteria, fungi, and other things we don't see from deep sea, and harnessing the power to develop products for pharmaceutical, medical applications, cosmetics, industries, and this has been a great journey. So there are different ways we can contribute to actually build a more sustainable ocean.
And there are a lot of people here who knows Helena, of course, and because you work for almost 25 years, I think.
I think so, yeah,
in
don't say that.
So you can go to Planetiers site, and you can go to the speakers page, and you can see all the extent CV that Helena has, and you will understand better why she's speaking knowing what she's doing, and she knows very well the ocean and all the challenges. But Helena, you have, I don't know if you want to talk about it now or later, but you have another one that I saw. It's Smart Tech.
It's the decarbonization project for the maritime transport.
So how is it doing?
So it started this year. It's a very recent project. It's an Atlantic-focused project, and this involves, I don't want to say it wrong, but I think it's 13 partners from the Atlantic region, from clusters to industries and academia, and we all have different roles. And the University of Aveiro, I'm leading the team here. We are looking at the technology, so seeing what is Europe doing. Are we doing enough? So do we have enough technology development in Europe to decarbonize the maritime sector, or will we have problems later on because these technologies are in USA or in Asia, and it might constrain the autonomy of Europe in this point? So this is one of the roles that we are doing. And then we are also working nationally to understand. We're actually going to have a workshop on the 7th of November with national stakeholders to understand what are they actually developing and what are their needs now, so that we can then do a match within the Atlantic area.
Because it's a big challenge, because you need to coordinate with
Yes.
everyone and every different case scenario. So how is it possible doing that?
And it's very challenging because maritime transport goes from, you know, the big container to the passengers, to the touristic boat. So it's quite challenging, and we are trying to categorize it by type of technology and type of application, and then try to match. It's a first approach, really, and it's to build, actually, this is to build a network at the Atlantic level. So in Portugal we have Aveiro and Fórum Oceano, who are responsible for doing this, and then in each country we have also a cluster and a more technical partner trying to do that. So this is a first attempt to try and do this. Yeah.
We have to talk about this next year again.
Yes.
Janete, in Fundação Maio Biodiversidade, the marine protected areas play an important role. You already told us that, but how do these areas contribute to biodiversity and the overall health of the ocean ecosystem? How do you see this?
Okay. With all the current ocean conservation challenge, marine protected area emerge.
I'm so sorry. I don't know if you can just put a little bit near your mouth. Mais perto aqui.
Okay, thank you. With all the current ocean conservation challenge, marine protected area emerge as a key strategy and have been an effective tools to mitigate impact and ensuring ocean conservation. They provide a safe haven for countless species and promote the recovery of fish population and another organism who are often threatened by human activities. In addition, when you restrict some activities, this is a chance to promote the restore of ecosystem and maintain the integrity of the ocean. And I think one of the most important things on the marine protected areas is the involvement of local communities to and promote the sustainable fish practice. For example, in Maio Island, we have one marine protected area was proposed by a local fisherman because they know very well where are the places are more productive for the fish, and they now they know because it's very important to protect the species of some places, and the government has accepted their proposal, and that area now is one marine protected areas. And this example shows that effective conservation depends on engagement and effort between researchers, governmental, non-governmental, and people who depend of marine resources.
So the community understands that?
Yes, they understand. Because in the past, I think, don't have a lot of information about the environment, about the conservation, and now people know more about how is the consequence of negative impact in their life.
In their lives, in their
Yes.
money, in their daily routine, with
Yes.
their families, because we are talking about Cape Verde, and it's another scenario. It's different from Europe.
Yes.
So I don't know which one of you have been in Cape Verde already. Can we? And which one have been in Maio Island? You should go there. You should really go there. So, Helena, the ocean faces lots of challenges. I know you can talk about the main ones, and I would love to hear you about that. And also, with your experience, how can the engagement, because we are talking about communities, we have to act local to have the global consequence. How can you think that the engagement of local communities enables the implementation of ocean policies in the blue economy?
I don't know if
it's
I'm
two questions
yes.
in one, but I want to know your personal.
The challenge part, it's easy. The communities part is not so easy because I'm not an expert in that aspect. I think the Secretary of State has actually mentioned all the challenges that the ocean is facing in her intervention before. So warming, I think it's the one that most people understand very easily. Warming up the ocean has a lot of consequences in a lot of biological processes that occur in the ocean. I don't know if some of the Portuguese here have seen the news a few weeks ago about the sargassum effect in the Algarve beaches here.
Yeah,
so that's an effect of the warming as well. So it changes the dynamics of the ocean and therefore brings to places where they were not common some species. It also impacts, so I think a few months ago there was this event in the Azores, I think it was in Flores and Corvo Islands, of this narrow fish, I don't know the name in English, sorry, that caught a virus that usually appears in the Mediterranean because the waters there are becoming warmer. So warming is a really big challenge.
I think that sometimes people forget that we only have one ocean
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
planet.
exactly. So everything is connected.
So everything is connected, and those images that we saw in the Algarve, we thought that we only saw them in Mexico or
exactly.
Dominican Republic, and we say, oh, we don't go on vacation there anymore. But now we have it here in our country, and I think the ring is the bell is ringing,
And that's why climate and ocean nexus is so important, because everything is connected, acidification. And then you have, on top of all this, you have the direct anthropogenic, so the human effect in the ocean. Overfishing is one problem. I have a colleague from University of Lisbon who's studying the shark populations in Cape Verde and in São Tomé, for example. And in Cape Verde, there are still sharks, and sharks play a really important role in maintaining the ocean ecosystem. And having them is a sign of good quality.
Health,
but for example, in São
ocean.
Tomé, you already don't have any sharks because they've been overfished. And this is a real problem because, as Janete was saying, it affects the livelihoods of local fishermen, but it also impacts
Life in the
downstream
ocean,
other things that you are doing in the ocean. So the link between these challenges and the local communities is tremendous. Because you have, and it's not, whenever we think of local communities, we think of indigenous or fishermen, but it's much more than that. For example, if you come to Aveiro, there's a big group of activities connected to the ocean here. You have the salt marshes, you have the fisheries, you have algae connected activities, you have tourism, and everything that happens in the ocean due to these challenges affects a bigger proportion of the population more and more. And until sometimes we say that we are very insensitive or not empathic with these things because, like the deep sea, we don't see it.
We don't see it, so we don't feel it.
So we don't feel it, but it will knock in our doors one way or the other. And I think plastic and pollution is probably the latest or the more spoken one, because, we are all eating plastic and we don't know yet the extent to how much does it accelerate our dying, for example. We can see it already in the biodiversity in the ocean, but in ours, it's yet to be defined. So there is a big correlation, and listening to the local communities to empower public policy and empower these projects. I think what Janete is doing is great in Cape Verde, because that's the way to do it. In Portugal, we have marine protected areas that are co-managed with the local communities, and that's how you should do it, actually.
Yes, and we saw examples today here in Planetiers, in some panels of that, and that's happening. And because we are talking about communities, Janete, can you share with us about a program that you have that it's amazing? I saw it, I had the opportunity to saw it in Maio Island. It's called Guardians of the Sea, since 2016, and it impacts on both community engagement and marine conservation. And I know you brought us some pictures that you can share with us, please. And you can talk about it where the pictures passes here on the screen. I don't know if it's possible. So for us, for every one of us, have some kind of notion what kind of island are we talking about and what they do. So I asked the production please to pass the photos. So Janete, you can talk about it.
But first of all, I want to say Maio Biodiversity Foundation is an environmental conservation NGO with a strong community involvement, and we are develop different initiatives to engage people in conservation because it's very important include people on conservation. When we think about conservation, it's become clear to us that effective conservation don't happen without the active participation of communities because they are the main users of resources. The Guardians of the Sea is one initiative led by a local fisherman where they collect data from marine megafauna sighting, and they collect data about illegal activities happen in the ocean. This initiative is excellent because at raising awareness and mobilize communities from the conservation, and play at effective tools to improving the management fish, marine fish in Cape Verde, and these initiatives are replicating in 7 to 10 islands Cape Verde. With the data collate, we give us some ideas what type of megafauna exists in Maio and where place they occur. And also, on another hand, it give us an idea about the type of illegal activities are happening, and is good we report to authorities what kind of illegal activity are happening, and it's very good because the authorities have idea which legislation they need to work and where they need to do the fiscalization.
So it's a success, the program, because we have 10 islands in Cape Verde. Of course, one, Santa Luzia, it's, no one lives there. Yeah. It's a marine protected area. But if the program started in 2016 with you, by you,
yes, by
it was your idea when you was coordinator.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's already in 7 islands, so I think it's an amazing success.
And also we have São Tomé and Príncipe want to replicate this initiative also in their country.
Great. Are you going there?
Yes, I was there in March because we do one internship and they want to replicate in this initiative, and we are open to help them to do this initiative there.
Maybe in Portugal also. It's the idea on the air. But Helena, looking ahead, what do you consider the most pressing research and innovation priorities for ensuring a sustainable blue economy? I know this is $1 million question because we need a lot of things, but what do you prioritize?
You know, Catarina, if you can imagine a future that it's better looking for my daughter and my grandchildren in the future, and although I'm a biologist by training, I do believe that it's in the bioeconomy or bio-based economy development model that things would go right. So we really need to decarbonize and decouple this economic growth of society from the natural resources. Yes. So we need to shift from exploring limited resources to developing unlimited technologies and using bio-based resources. So I believe in a society where, you know, we don't have any more fossil-based products, we don't use resources to the limit. So everything that has to do with developing these type of technologies, but also learning and knowing, we know less than 5% of ocean's biodiversity. We know nothing about the ocean yet. So basic knowledge and focusing on bio-based future, you know, a sustainable ecological future is where I see things going.
You know, the ocean, and Helena knows it, Janete knows it, and many people that are here that I know knows that the ocean is the main theme for me. It's my special one. I have the red light doing this, like your time is out, but I have a last question. It's very important. Janete, what sustainable economic initiatives have you seen as most effective in reducing dependency on marine resources and promoting conservation in Maio? And I ask you to be fast in 1 minute. That's my favorite word, 1 minute.
Okay, thank you. And also we are working to try to promote the blue economy. We have some initiatives were developed. We are thinking to create some megafauna observation led by fishermen on boats and diving. And also we work also in turtle protection, and we have a local youngs be monitor, and they work with the protection of turtle. And also we help the government to do a capacitation training with local youngs to be guide, and they offer the excursion to turtle watching. And for us, this is a good initiative because allows people have less dependence of the resources and help the ocean restore the ecosystem, and it's very important for the protection and conservation.
I think our hope, Helena, is like in projects like this, when you see that in other side of the world, in this case in Africa, we have such a success and such a knowledge of the ocean and concerns, and that's wonderful. So I thank you both for this your insightful contributions today. We've discussed the pressing challenges facing our oceans and the vital role that sustainable practices and community engagement plays. And in protecting marine ecosystems, if the ocean dies, we all die, we know that, and it's crucial that we continue to work together and to implement these strategies in our own lives, our communities also. So thank you so much for talking about your experience and your knowledge, Helena. Thank you so much, Janete, for bringing us another kind of perspective and telling what you are doing in Cape Verde. Because it seems far away, but it's not. We are all connected. It's the same ocean in Africa and in Portugal. Thank you so much to both of you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.